Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who really gives a shit? I mean, really, like really. Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? I mean, really, let's get deep down into this. Who gives a shit? That's probably one of the greatest existential questions you could ask yourself. Who gives a shit? And that seems to be a mantra that fires on its own from time to time, more so lately, when I'm meditating. The equivalent of it could be that meme with SpongeBob, and it's like, nobody cares. Who cares? Who cares? I mean, really, who cares? Nobody cares. Only you care. Only you give a shit. But really, when you step outside of all of it, and with your third eye observe the whole cosmic drama unfold, nobody cares. It's SpongeBob, and he's got that rainbow, and nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. Nothing matters. Now that term, those two words, nothing matters, that's a multi-layered statement. Okay, because you could look at it and say, well, nothing matters. Okay. There's some truth to that. I totally dig, nothing really matters at the end of the day. Then you go a little deeper into it, and you say, well, I guess I'm gonna die, so who cares? And everybody else around me is gonna die, and the sun is even gonna die, and everything that is around me is finite, so nothing really matters. You take it even a step further, and you get into simulation theory and the concept of illusion, Maya, and binary code, and this being a simulated reality, and you realize that actually it does not matter, meaning it's not even physical. Okay, it's not even physical. It turns out this whole thing is not physical. It's just a mirrored reflection of the astral plane. That's all it is. It's just a mirror of the astral plane, which are all it's all binary code. It's not physical. It just appears to be physical, much like a mirage appears to be water. But really, you keep chasing down, like, I grew up in the desert, so we used to drive a lot in the desert, and that always fascinated me as a kid. It's like we keep driving, and it looks like there's water, and man, it never manifests. And one day, I would have loved to actually see water, but that never happened. So in the same way, it appears to be physical, but it isn't. And then you take it even a step further, and you go into the void, which is what happens when you begin to meditate and get deeper and deeper into deeper states and go as far as samadhi and beyond. You begin to go deep into the void, and you realize you're nothing, you're no one, you're just a pure awareness. And so then nothing matters, meaning nothing matters. No thing matters. So it only appears as physical, but it isn't physical. It's no thing. It's nothing. So really, in the grand scheme of things, nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And that seems to play in my head, when I think of accomplishments. Like sometimes I'll be in meditation. If you go into meditation, you'll start to see visuals and images of your past in this lifetime. And then if you go deeper and deeper, you begin to unlock past lives too. It's all memory. So what happens with pretty much everyone that meditates is you start to have visuals from this lifetime. Like they'll start to play childhood memories. It could be very, very random. It could be you sitting at the dinner table with your family, or it could be you getting in a car accident, or it could be you falling off a bike, or it could be anything. Could be you falling in love with somebody in high school, and so these things play. So then today, for example, when I meditated, I start to have images and visuals from my university years, where I would try to impress chicks. Okay, I try to do some things, put on a certain perfume, wear a certain thing, and use all these cheesy pickup lines and cheesy things, and then, well, I said, looking at that, I'm like, who gives a shit? Like, who gives a shit? Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter. And it's very self-evident to me, because here I am just hanging out on this field, meditating and taking in a beautiful sun, and whoever I was trying to impress, they're doing their thing in the amusement park. Because what's funny about it is, like, I'm trying to impress myself, because that's just me in another manifestation. So why would I try to impress myself when what? It's so hilarious. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters. So that's when it starts to play in my head, who gives a shit, nothing matters, and all these mantras. With a giggle. I mean, it's a 2-in-1 deal, folks. It's not just an apathetic, dispassionate nothing matters. It comes with a giggle, really, because it's just like you realize how absurd all of our behaviors are, for the most part, in trying to appeal to somebody else, whether it's sexual appeal or monetary appeal or social appeal. And that mantra just plays, who gives a shit, and it comes with a giggle. It really comes with a giggle. It never not comes with a giggle, because it's just a deeper understanding of the game and of the absurdity of trying to impress yourself. Because if you see yourself in everyone, which is what is, then it just becomes hilarious, because you're trying to appeal to yourself. But why would you do that? Why would you do why would you do that? Why would you try to appeal to yourself? Why would you try to impress yourself? It doesn't make sense. You're just you. The sun is just the sun. The bird is just the bird. Everything just is. There's no need to make a big deal out of it. Trying to impress yourself in another manifestation. Ha 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 ha. So when you realize that nothing matters, you develop a certain state of emotional non-reactivity, where you less and less respond to things emotionally, because you just immediately, instantaneously recognize that it doesn't matter. So one day you wake up and there is no money in your bank account. Nothing matters. You're driving in your car and your tire pops up. Who gives a shit? It's not like it's gonna matter. Something will happen. Somebody will come in and stop their car and help you. It happens all the time. You're out of money. I don't know. Maybe your dad can lend you some money, your friend, and then maybe next week or something will come up. You'll get a client. You get a new job or whatever. But really, who gives a shit? You gotta look at things in the long run and really understand that nobody cares. SpongeBob's right all along, folks. Nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit. And what are you gonna do? Your tire pops up. You ain't got a spare tire. Your car is stopped in the middle of a highway. You think that's the end of the world? No. Something will happen. I guarantee you, within 5 minutes, somebody's gonna stop and help you. Guarantee you. Now, okay, let's take it a little bit extreme. I think about these things in meditation. Now, this example. And again, the mantra, who gives a shit, presents itself. So I like to play with those grass snakes, right? Now, I don't think of it as a scary thing at all, because it isn't, because they're non-venomous. And a few days ago, I was playing with a snake, and there was a lot of people, and they got scared. They really backed off, and I was kind of messing around with everyone, sort of, and I was gentle with the snake, because what happens if you grab a snake, it's gonna freak out a little bit, but then it's gonna relax. if you really relax, it'll actually start to play with you. So now, I know this is non-venomous. I don't think of myself as a badass or anything for doing that, because it's like, it's small. It's like, maybe it's not very big, and they're non-venomous. They're scared of you. They'll run away from you. So it's not a big deal at all, okay? And if this was a python, it would be a different story. But then I think to myself, right? So this thought came to me in meditation. I said, well, okay, let's suppose this was a python, and you picked up the python, and the python bit you, or choked you, or something. Let's say it bit you, right? Then what? And then the mantra, who gives a shit, fired itself through my consciousness. Now, why is that? Because I said, okay, if I get bit, two things will happen. Either I'll get violently ill, in which case I'll just fast for 40 days and 40 nights, and that should get rid of the problem. So then who gives a shit? Because I've got this incredible thing inside my body, this force, this prana, this Tao, that is very healing, that is always trying to heal, by nature. So then who gives a shit? Why would I be scared of a snake bite? And then the other option is I die. In which case, that's even more of a big who gives a shit. Because to me, the biggest cosmic joke of them all is death. And, on this plane of existence, I think other folks who are more living in higher states of consciousness, from time to time, they'll tune into the drama in the earth, and they'll see all these people grieving, and oh my God, my mom died, and my dad died, and they'll probably kind of get a little giggle out of it, because they're they're really so bought into the illusion that they think death is it, that they think that's it. So to me, that's actually the biggest cosmic joke. That gives me, a big giggle more than a lot of other things, believe me. And then so I'm like, I'm gonna die? okay, right? So then I'm just like, who gives a shit? And then I recognize that nothing matters. I'm eternal. That's when you start to live more in your eternal space. What's gonna matter? You're eternal. That doesn't matter. If that doesn't matter, nothing else matters. Plain and simple. Straight up. All your fears, all your anxieties stem from this existential fear of not existing anymore, of going into the abyss of non-existence. All of your fears, everything from I need food. Well, why do you need food? To survive, because I don't want to cease to exist. So then you're in living, you don't have money, you freak out. Oh my God, I need to eat today. You freak the fuck out. And then all your fears about somebody, killing you or something, or oh my God, like if I walk around here, this is a dangerous neighborhood. Again, fear of non-existence. So all your fears stem from your fear of death. But if you begin to live in your eternal space, that is the deepest part of you, then death no longer matters, or begins to matter less and less and less. And when you get to the point where it absolutely doesn't matter, then that's it. Then who gives a shit? I get bit by a snake. Either I'll fast it until it heals, which it'll heal. 40 days and 40 nights of water fasting pretty much heal 99.9% of anything, really. I'll just fast it off, because the universe is healing and benevolent, and it's clear, because when you sleep, it doesn't matter what you have been doing with your body begins to heal itself. If the Tao wasn't benevolent and healing, what would happen when you sleep is your body the force would actually be decaying you even more. But actually, it's always working to try and heal you, to working towards healing. And our physical bodies, like we talked about in previous breatharian videos, can probably go on forever if you become breatharian, if you begin to be sustained off subtler forms of energy until you go all the way to who you are, which is pure energy. But we talked about in other videos here. So so then you take that, and then you think about minute shit in your life, like Does he like me? Did I say the right thing? Did I say the right thing? Does he like me? Does she like me? Should I have said that, something else? Should I have worn this today? Should I have done that today? All these little things, like things associated usually with your social image. Come on now. Come on, that if you're going as far as death, what is that in comparison to it? And I know a lot of people struggle with their social image and with the overthinking and with caring about what other people think. And those other people are sometimes your parents, often, always actually your parents, your friends, your peers, your family members. They do not approve of a certain way that you live, and they'll make comments and this and that, and you starts to concern you a little bit. Or maybe you're out and about having your headphones plugged in, just dancing to music, and suddenly you feel self-conscious. Oh, what are people thinking about this? What are they thinking of me? Am I crazy? Am I this and that? I mean, if you're going to face death, and if you're going to be content with it, and if you're going to live in your eternal space, come on, that's a joke, isn't it? So, to you I say, who gives a shit? Thank you to all the Patreons who support this channel. And we keep getting more and more Patreons as I'm making this video. We are up to 23 Patreons. Hey, for a channel that's, 6,000 subscribers, young channel, that's amazing. You guys are very generous, and I want to thank you. And if you would like to show your support in that way, buy me a young Thai coconut or a cup of tea for $2 a month. That would be incredibly amazing of you. And if you really want to do it, then don't be lazy. Get off your ass right now, get your credit card, and it'll take you no more than 5 minutes, okay? So if you are interested in booking one-on-one consultations, face-to-face video chats to talk about anything in your life, you won't believe some of the conversations that I have with people. It's like sometimes we'll talk about shit and how to shit properly, how to eat properly. Other times it's like psychedelics and microdosing. Sometimes it's family issues, ex-wife, this and that. It's all over the place, and it's pretty cool. So if you'd like to talk about anything, chat about anything via video, book a one-on-one consultation down below in the description. The link for Patreon and the consultations is in the description. And that's about it. I love you guys. And until next time, may the force be with you.